مسلمين صلوا عليه.
Try to understand the concept first about equality. Then we go to marriage. In many cases, women are smarter than men. They're not equal. So those people who advocate for equality have really missed the mark. Because we are even biologically, our brains are wired differently. You know that. Man and women have different kind of wiring of our brains, how women can multitask so easily and men cannot. So if someone says like we all are equal, that's totally false. When we ask for equality, maybe we're asking for equal rights when it comes to societal rights. Rights of employment. Yes, we want equal rights. How we are treated, we want equal rights. Things like this. Yeah. So what Islam considers is something, more. The key word is more just than this, which is justice. To give you an example, you know how even in transport system here, you have buses and trains, specifically some seats which says give up those seats to people who are in more need of it, like pregnant women, elderly people, or people carrying children, right? But if you consider equality, it means what? Everyone, whether it's a boy or a girl, man or a woman, elderly person, man or woman, they have the same right to sit on a seat. Yeah? So imagine now there's a pregnant woman just about to give birth, and I'm there. I sit on the seat because I have the equal rights, and she's standing. Now you would say, what's wrong with that? You're both equal. You have the equal rights to sit on that seat. It doesn't say anything like give up the seat. But you would say, because it doesn't say anyway, it's just a normal seat. It's not a special seat. You would say, man and woman, boy or a girl, doesn't matter how you are, you have the equal rights to sit. But something in your conscience will tell you, but that's not right, it's not fair. Even though the equality is there, but your conscience tells you, something else tells you, but we can't use the laws of equality here. It seems more just to offer the seat to this pregnant lady who needs the seat more than I do. So equality has been overridden by what? The concept of justice. Yeah? So you can't offer this concept of equality to everyone blanketly, because in general, yes. But sometimes this can be overridden by other concepts, which is justice. And this is what Islam says. Justice comes first. So if it means, like, say, to give you an example, we'll come back to marriage in a second. You've heard how some people consider, Muslim man, they get double the inheritance than a Muslim woman, right? How is that fair? But if you were to consider how this whole situation is contextualized in an Islamic family, you will say, it is not fair to give the Muslim woman, in this case is the sister, between brother and sister, the equal amount of inheritance. Let me tell you why. If you have a system in which the model is like this, the man, whether it's the father, the husband, or the brother, right? Depending on who's now in charge of the roles of the family, is responsible to maintain, support, protect, that is emotionally, financially, for the family's affairs. So that means the man is the breadwinner, has to earn the bread, has to work. If you have women at home, whether it's the mother, wife, sister, or any woman, right? They do not have to. In fact, if they are able to work and they say, I don't want to work, it is the responsibility of the man to provide financially to the woman at home, whether it's his own wife, own sister, mother, or daughter. Women don't have to work at all. Just like that, full stop. If they don't want to. If they don't want to.
If they want to, they can.
Yeah. So if they don't want to, so the responsibility of maintaining financially, the financial burden of providing the food, shelter, accommodation, and everything you need to have, a decent life, the man has to provide that. The man also has to marry off, for example, the sister or a daughter to a good husband with the financial mean. The woman is always in the receiving end. The woman does not need to spend a penny or a cent or a dollar, nothing. It has to be the man providing the financial requirements for the marriage. The husband who is marrying has to give the woman, the bride, this marital gift, often misused as a dowry thing, right? It's a marital gift that the man, the husband, is going to provide. And the husband is going to now, when he's marrying this woman, look after financially this woman. Even if she doesn't want to work, she wants to say, I'm going to stay at home and I will live like a princess. The man has to take care of her. All of this. So she is looked after financially at home. She's looked after when she's married off by the husband when she goes to her husband's house. No financial responsibility and obligation. Now think about the man as now, so the boy, between, brother and a sister, the brother. The brother, when he is marrying, he has to offer the marital gift, dowry, the money, okay? He has to look after his wife financially. He has to provide all of this. So if you now say, look, the inheritance money, which is what? Which is really a gift from your parents. You haven't worked for it at all. Your parents had their finances and they are leaving some wealth behind. And they're going to give this to the children and others who need it. There are different categories. But between children, if now the inheritance money was distributed equally to the man and the woman, look what's happening. The woman is always, the girl, the sister, is always in the receiving end. She's been looked after in this father's household, and she's going to be looked after in the husband's household. Always receiving. She doesn't have to spend a single penny. And even if she has wealth herself that she worked for and she earned, it cannot be touched by the husband. Not a single penny can be taken by the husband. The husband has no right whatsoever. So she has all this wealth and she's receiving. And then on top of that, now you have this inheritance from the parents. She receives inheritance. If it's equal, you would say, how is that fair? I would say, how is that fair? Because she doesn't have to spend any of that money of inheritance on the household, on the husband or anything. So the brother who received the inheritance, if he receives the same amount, equal amount of inheritance like the sister gets, and from that he's going to spend on his future wife, spend when his father passes away, on the family, because he is now responsible to look after the family financially as a son. How would it be fair if he received the same inheritance as his sister, who has no financial obligation to look after the family, no financial obligation to spend on the husband and so on? So do you see now why Islam, from this context, it seems fair to offer the brother double the share of inheritance money? If you now look into the issues of marriage, look into...
Again, as protecting her in a way. Yeah.
Marriage, if you look at all the different societies, the majority of the societies, man have been patriarchal. Whether we liked it or not, man has been patriarchal in the sense because they're the ones who work hard, toil the land, bring the food. They're the stronger physically. I'm not saying emotionally. Emotionally, man could be actually less stronger than women, right? So physically, because of their strength, they are the ones who work to earn the bread. And because of this physical strength, often throughout history, man has been very power controlling. And with that came abuse of the woman, of the wife, which is what we shouldn't have in the first place. Because of this, when in a marriage, what we see is man seems to be dominant, even though you don't want to, you want a mutual relationship. But throughout ages, in different societies, because of man's, so-called self-dominance, woman always has been, in the very realm of victimization. So that's why, if you consider now, even today, this victimization can still go on wrongly. We are saying an Islamic model of marriage is totally different, where Islam says, look, when you're going to get married, a man, of course, you will have influence of the children that's going to come from this wedding, this wedlock, the children that's going to come as a result of this marriage. He will influence how they're brought up and so on. That seems to be like in most societies. If you have a Muslim woman marrying a non-Muslim husband, the non-Muslim husband will also have this kind of, want and need and desire for the child to be brought up by his standards, by his morality, by his principles, by his ideology. So Islam says, look, there's a risk of the child not following the creed, the ideology, the religion of Islam. And Islam doesn't want that. Islam says no. Muslims should continue their life as Muslims. So should their children be. When you are at your age of reason and rationality, of course you're confronted with different ideas and systems, and this is where your belief will be solidified. Your ideologies will be concrete in terms of what you think is right and wrong. But at a stage where you're very vulnerable as a children, you can be easily influenced. Islam says no, this is a vulnerable age where children should not be exposed to false ideologies, what Islam considers to be false. That's why Islam doesn't permit Muslim women to marry non-Muslim